After the leader shoot, the bullet didn't get to Okita, as the twin-headed dragon deflected the bullet with its wing. By seeing the dragon blocking the bullet, the leader gets nervous and starts to shoot continuously. Okita then turned towards the leader as the dragon was blocking all the bullets. As he looks on the leader, he can see the status of the leader and also can see the next move of the leader. From this ability, he was able to know the plan of the leader and acts accordingly to save himself and make the leader dance in his own plums. He then orders the dragon to attack, and the dragon does so. The attack landed on his hand, and the handgun has fallen away from his hand. The dragon then launched its second attack by seeing this. The leader steps backwards and stands in front of the wall. The attack did harm him as the attack landed 1 centimeter above his shoulder. The dragon then attacks continuously, but none of the attacks hit him. The leader kneels down and places his hands over his hand and shouts for helping him. Okita then looks at the status of the leader and sees that he has lost his will to fight. After seeing this, Okita told the dragon to stop, and he tells the leader that now his existence doesn't matter to him. He also warns him that from today onwards, if he dare to direct any killing intent towards him, he will kill him immediately. From this display of Okita's power, the leader gets so scared that he pees in his pants. As Okita sees this, he puts a smile in his face and told the leader not to be so frightened, and as an apology gift, Okita gives him the rare mana stone that he got from the dungeon boss. Okita then tells the leader to submit a dungeon clearance report to the company, and after that he takes his leave from the dungeon to start a brand new life of his. Then we can see on the next day in the Clearwater headquarters, as Okita declares to everyone that he is quitting the company. Some girls comes to him and tried to convince him not to quite. These 2 girls are Okita's senior. They works in the General Affairs Department. Their work is to support the Awakeners. As Okita looks at their status, he gets that both of them are C-rank Awakeners, which is much higher than his rank. But Okita was so confused as these high-ranked Awakeners are being so nice to him. The girls asked him what he will do after he quit this company. Okita replied that he will be raiding dungeons solely. As the surrounded employees hear this, they makes fun of him and says that what nice joke it is, that a F-rank Awakener can solo a dungeon. Then a boy named Nakamura-kun and an old man named Terui-san comes to him and also try to convince him. Okita now can see everybody's status, and from his, he can easily say whether a person is truly concerned about him or not. He then looks at the status of Terui-san and Nakamura-kun and founds that they both are F-rank and are truly concerned about him. He now feels a little bit bad for these guys. As he was talking to them, he feels a dominating pressure from his back, and as he turns his head, he saw the director Serizawa. As he tried to look at his status, a red panel appears and said that it is unidentified. After seeing this, Okita thinks that the rank of the director would he above an A rank. Okita, who is the lowest F-rank Awakener, got his luck Schnee in his first dungeon raid, and he gained many abilities. The first one is the ability to limitlessly use the gate carbs that Awakeners can originally only use. One at a time, this ability is alone holds the power to make an Awakener invincible. The second thing that he got is that the numerous extremely powerful rare cards he obtained that can pulverize a dungeon boss with a single attack. And finally, the eyes that allow him to see through his opponent's skills, abilities, and actions. This is the ability that helps Okita survive from the heinous plan of the party leader, although he should have obtained a power that would greatly surpass those rank Awakeners. But even with this powers, he cannot see the status of the director. This means the director Serizawa holds even more powers that his ability can handle. The director comes and stops the girls and starts to talk with Okita. At first, he greets Okita and introduces himself and said that though Okita is affiliated with his team, they didn't have a direct conversation. Director Serizawa is the most capable person in the Clearwater Company. He also, best fit as a leader as he has, raises up the performance of many Awakeners team. There are countless A-rank Awakeners like Tyra and the others who are his subordinates. He doesn't usually personally appear on site or manage Awakeners. He also got some contacts in government and has a good relationship with the Prime Minister, and there are also rumor about him that his ability is much stronger than his communication skills. The director then speaks up and said that he didn't come to stop him, but he rather wants to hear the reason of him quitting this company, which is the best in this line. Okita then says that, as a low-ranked Awakener in this Clearwater company, he has to deal with a lots of indignation. By hearing this, all the girls get scared, and the director replied that he didn't think he had a subordinate who could express their opinions so boldly, and also said that he wish he knew this before he quit. The director then says sorry to Okita for interrupting him, and says that he hopes that he achieves success through his efforts after leaving this company. The director also gives him a little bit warning, that is, if he gets in the way of the company, he will completely crash him. After that, the director takes his leave. Noguchi, the lady, and Tyra was also present there. Noguchi tells that what's the fuss, as Okita is quitting, which is a mere F-rank Awakener. Noguchi then asked Tyra who he defeated the dungeon boss, while all of them were unconscious. By hearing this, Tyra gets angry and starts to leave quickly. After that, Okita gets out of the building, and he was thinking that where he would get a free dungeon, which he can clear alone. He then looks front and see an old man asking other to help him, but no, was hearing him. Then, as he sees Okita getting out of the building, he rushes towards Okita and asked him if he is an Awakener. Okita says yes. Getting the reply from Okita, the old man holds Okita's hand and begs him to clear his dungeon. After hearing this request of the old man, Okita takes the old man to a cafe to hear more about his situation in details. As they sit in the cafe, the old man introduces himself. His name is Matsuda. Okita also looks at the old man's status and see that this man is not an Awakener, and hence he has no skills. Old man Matsuda then says to Okita that his building has been dungeonized and he wants Okita to clear it for him. After hearing this, Okita asked why he is not hiring any other high-ranked Awakener from a reputable company. Old man Matsuda replied that he does not have enough money to pay a large company like the Clearwater. Okita then questioned that didn't free Awakeners dispatched by the government come to deal with it. The old man replied that those guys are no good, they only want to extort money and have no intention of actually clearing the dungeon, and this is already his fourth time he have been swindled out of millions of yen just with the retainer fees. Although large corporations use their full power to clear high-reward buildings like skyscrapers and power plants. But places like community buildings and small apartments are lower on the priority list for clearing, meaning the paid rewards are also lower. Therefore, large corporations don't dispatch Awakeners there. So because of that, people like Matsuda-san have no choice but to rely on Awakeners of inferior quality. Okita then looks at the depressed face of old Matsuda and have many thoughts in his heart. Old man Matsuda then says to Okita that he knows that it will be a trouble for Okita to dive into a dungeon without informing his company, but he has no choice to directly ask an Awakener from a large corporations like Clearwater. By hearing the word of old Matsuda, Okita says that he has recently quit the Clearwater company and he is also looking for a dungeon to test his skills in as a free Awakener. He also says that he didn't need a retainer fee and he requests old Matsuda to give him the dungeon, old man. Matsuda gets so surprised by Okita's word that he stood up from the sofa. Okita raises his hand to the old man and introduces himself. And by shaking the hand of old Matsuda, he told him to show the way of the dungeon. After that, they went to the Matsuda-san's building. As they arrive there, they see Saki, who is the granddaughter of Matsuda-san. She was arguing with two Awakeners who has come to take the retainer fees. Saki knows that these Awakeners are frauds who will take the retainer fees and run away. So she takes out her phone and starts to record so that she can expose them. As the Awakeners see Saki recording them, they quickly hide their face and run away. As Okita and Matsuda-san was seeing this, they run towards Saki and asked her if she is okay. Saki said that she is completed fine, and as she see Okita standing beside his grandfather, she asked her grandfather about this man. The grandfather then introduces Okita to her and said that Okita will be clearing this dungeon and he will also not take any retainer fees. By hearing this, Saki stares at Okita and asked him to show her his Awakener registration card. Okita then shows her his card. By seeing Okita's card, Saki gets shocked as she sees the rank of Okita, which is F. She tells her grandfather that Okita eyed the lowest ranked Awakener and asked him if it will be alright to let him raid the dungeon. Okita hears her words and tells her that he is also looking for a dungeon to test out his skill, and he ensures her that he will not be a burden to old Matsuda. By hearing Okita's words, Saki gets impressed and said that as her grandfather says, it's fine, so she didn't mind it anymore. She then hand over Okita a tablet, which has information about the dungeon. Okita takes it and says to leave the dungeon to him as he will be returning shortly. After saying this, he gets inside the dungeon. As he enters the dungeon, the blue panel and he appears. He then looks the surrounding and was amazed to see that how big it is. As he is walking in the dungeon, the blue panel again appears and said that there are monsters around him. Okita was impressed to see this function of the system, which can automatically detect monsters. Okita then finds that its abilities didn't stop here. It also shows Okita the location of all the monsters in the first floor, and also gives him a detail of all the numbers of each type of monsters. By seeing this, Okita gets excited and brings out all the cards from his card holder. He then chooses the Vortex of Raging Flames card. As he activates it, a Gaint skeleton with flames all over it appears. Okita then orders the Gaint skeleton to burn all the goblins to ashes. The Gaint skeleton attacks and a tornado of flame appears, which burns all the goblins. The confirmation of the death message appears. Other message also appears, which says that the rank of the Vortex of Flame card increases, and Okita has also got a new title, Master of Flames. After that, Okita feels a bit difficulty in breathing. At that time, an alert message appears, which says that there is a very low concentration of oxygen in the dungeon, and it will make a hindrance in survival. Okita was running low on oxygen as the flame attack of the Gaint skeleton takes up all the oxygen.